Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
You're sexy, so good to me.
Hey, this is Sir Charles Carey. I want you to join me on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. for the TRU-MU Podcast, True Music. That's where we talk about all things music.
I'm a musician, singer-songwriter, producer, engineer.
All things creative.
Me and my co-host, Carl T. Smith, the smooth one, will be glad to hear you, glad to talk to you, answer your questions, and talk all things music. The TRU-MU Podcast, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Be part of the energy.
I can see that thing that makes men stop, stand still, all in denial, suffer loss of will.
Hey, folks, Sir Charles Carey, my man, the smooth one, Carl T. Smith. What's up, C?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
Man,
How about you?
I'm good, man. You look, I'm gonna say, you recognize that music?
Yeah. That's that hit.
That's it, the right time. Oh man. So how was your day today?
It's okay. Chaotic, but okay, regular day.
All right. That's what's up. Look, we gotta
Yeah,
keep
yours.
Look, I can't complain. I'm grateful, man. Every day, look, the joy, the pain, the difficulties, at least I can feel something, so I know I'm alive. So I can't look, as someone once said, can't kill it, won't
It won't die. It won't die.
won't die. So I just know it, man, so it's all good. Man, look, this is Sir Charles Carey and Carl T. Smith, the smooth one. Welcome to the TRU-MU Podcast. True music is what it's all about. Here's where we talk about all things music. And, that's the purpose of the podcast, to talk about music from the perspective of likes, dislikes, maybe styles, genres, whatever it may be. And, of course, there's a message or a method to the madness. There's so many things going on. I know Carl has been pretty busy, and I've been fairly busy myself doing this, that, and the third as it relates to music and other things. So I know most recently, talking about music, I'd like to say that if you haven't heard it, check out my new release on YouTube. There's a new music video called He's the One. And please feel free to share your thoughts, whatever you like, don't like, or whatever you may be curious about. I'd love to respond back to you. But so far, I'm getting some pretty good feedback. So I'd like to see what you think. Yeah, He's the One. That's the name of the most recent track coming out of the Truality Enterprises camp. So, yeah. So what's going on with you on the music tip, Carl?
Working on some productions and some remixes and stuff like that. Got to go do a what do you call that thing? A conference coming up for a couple of days, and just getting ready for this event. I got an event next week that I have to do.
Okay. That's what's up. Man, so I know you got some stuff you're doing with Leon. You guys are hitting the road again. You're going to be in Chicago and a few other cities and stuff like that. Can you give us another summary of some of your projected dates that you're working towards?
Good question. Let's see. Well, let's see. I know February 15th there's a Valentine's Day thing in Harlem, New York.
Okay.
I think March 2nd is the winery in Chicago.
Okay.
With Leon, the winery. I'm performing in Harlem, New York. The winery is Leon and the Peoples. And then I think the 13th we're in San Diego. And then the March 21st, I'm in Maryland.
Right.
And then there's a couple of other dates. April 26th, I believe, there's a date in New York. And then May 24th is a date in New York. You can actually, the easiest way to do it is if you drop by my website, or no, drop by my or my bio link, or even that's even better. You drop by that, go to www.smooth1, that's the number 1.com,
Right.
and all the stuff is is there, and I've been actually updating that as recent as 5 minutes ago. So if you were there before, it looks a little different now. Yeah, come on by. Make sure you sign my mailing list so that I, keep you informed of all the great things that's going on. And that's about it for right. Well, no, that ain't about it, but that's about it for right now.
Up to that point, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, working backwards, I'll be seeing you in New York on the 24th. And I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while since I've done some things in the Big Apple. And of course, on March 21st in Temple Hills, Maryland, at the MPK Cabaret, we're gonna do the True Lovers Tour. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And just most recently, in fact, this weekend past, on the other side of the mic, I did this event in Alexandria, Virginia. So, I'm looking forward to all the dates, as well as getting back in the studio, putting some stuff out, because I got some material that needs some tweaking, and I'm looking forward to getting that out. So, that's always exciting, especially when I'm like in the zone. In fact, let's talk about that. When it comes to creating, whether it's the lyrics, do you write your own lyrics?
Yes.
Okay. And do you get in the zone when you're writing lyrics? Do you write the lyrics first? You write the music first? How does that process work for you?
All kind of ways. It just depends on what it is that how it falls. But all kind of ways. If I start with lyrics, then I'm, if I start with lyrics, then I'm concentrating on lyrics. If I start with the music, I'm concentrating on the music. And then if sometimes it's a little bit of both, or sometimes it's just kind of like, what they call that, goulash, or
okay, yeah.
It's like I do a little here, and then I get a chord change, and I go a couple of words, and then, and then at the end of that, then I just shut it down and don't listen to it, till the next morning.
Right.
I'm usually up all night doing these kind of things, so listen to it till later on that day, and then I do the same thing over and over again until it's done.
I was going to ask you, what's easier or what's more difficult, the lyrics or the music? I know you said it depends, but in general terms, what have you found to be more difficult?
They seem to be equally as difficult, because I'm real finicky on how I put stuff together. And I want it to sound a certain way, and I want it to flow a certain way. And I have these rules that I have with creating. So if I don't follow the rules, it'll be really easy, but I have these rules and I follow them. So therefore, it can get kind of hectic.
So you mean you can't do things any old kind of way? You got to follow your rules?
I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it any old kind of way. Matter of fact, if I hear something that was done any old kind of way, I'm like, well, yeah, okay,
exit stage stuff if I can as soon as possible. I don't want to say nothing about your stuff, dude.
Right.
Yeah, I know for myself, it's a similar, I guess, mindset. If I have an idea, because I'm quirky, I guess most of us probably are. I'm quirky. I'll have a bunch of draft music, and I may have like 3, 4, 5 different. I may have a pad actually that I started a song, some lyrics on. I have a sentence on another page, 2 words on another one. And I'm like, does this work? Can I make this work? And I'm looking for a page, and so it just depends on the groove of the music. And I guess my mood matters as well. But being a creative, we work how we work, whatever that is. If it's a formula, if it's not a formula, but it's an individual thing. So, I can definitely relate to what you're saying about, your process. Got to respect the process. So it's probably also why it's probably for me sometimes why it can be hard to play with others.
Are you one of those guys? Huh? You can't play with others, huh?
It's like you gotta really humble yourself, and like you gotta really realize, okay, they're an artist or they're a creative too. How do you approach them if you feel finicky or funny or not sure about a certain thing, whether it's music, words, or can I do this? Can I do that? Because we want to. Well, I know for me, I want to respect the other artists because I don't want nobody disrespecting me or making me feel uncomfortable. Maybe that's a better word, safe word. So, but I can be finicky. I can be finicky, and but that's probably why I've also been a solopreneur as a speaker as well as a musician, because one, either people don't show up and don't show out, or they show up and they're half-hearted, or they don't have any skin in the game, but they want to tell you how to run the game. It's like, oh man. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, I'm great at staying in the lane. Whatever the lane is, when I get there at this, however it is. So if you got it, if you're doing a thing and that's how you want to do it, it's like scratching the blackboard for me, but I can deal with it. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but how do you establish that? How do you find out that, okay, this guy is really quirky, super quirky, or this guy doesn't have any kind of format? How do you find that out for yourself?
Really, it's just the dialogue. Just the beginning dialogue tells me right away.
Right.
There's certain words that I hear that I go, okay, I know how to deal with this one. There's certain times, certain things. My problem is that I usually have an answer that would work, but I keep my mouth shut.
Right. You don't want to rock the cradle.
Well, I keep my mouth shut, but I have an answer, or I can make it work, and I've made stuff that shouldn't work. So
but that's your process, man. That's not their process. That's your.
Well, that's true, but a lot of times I'm sitting and I'm going, why? I don't understand why he did that, but okay,
Right.
That's what he wanted to do. All right, that's his thing. I can't control that. Basically, I just got to try to control whatever I can and let go whatever I can't, and that's it.
Right, man. I tell you, man, it's weird. Now, you've been in music a long time, and I guess this is a indirect question based on what we just finished speaking about. How many groups have you been a part of over the years?
Oh my God, I have to count.
Yes.
Oh man, come on. How many groups?
Yeah, bands, groups, or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
A lot, I guess. Sounds like a lot.
Well, yeah, a whole lot. Matter of fact, I was working on my what do you call that, BioLink or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I was working on the thing where people who can go check out, and I was looking at all the stuff, all the groups and all the acts and all the work that I don't list, and the people that haven't listed and stuff like that, and I the only thing I can come up with was, where did the time go?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because where did I find time to go through all of this when
it's funny you saying that, because even though this is a mental, I haven't literally or physically done it recently. I had a bio from when I was with bands, and then I had a solo bio, and I did literally until right now. I'm just realizing it because I have a picture in my mind, all the things I did, like Talk of the Town in Brooklyn, just so many different things I can't even think of right now off the top of my head. But I know that the actual 8x10 sheet one consisted of everything I did as a soloist, as an individual. And then I had another one before that one even existed of everything I did with the band with Ron and Daryl and Louie. And then there was another band, I forget the name of the group, another band I was with. And I was like, wow. And that's not even counting what I did before I even got there. On the gospel side, you know, it's like, wow. You know, when you think about it, it's like, man, that's a lot of history, man.
What was some of the bands that you was playing in?
Well, with Ron and then we had several names. We had the Free Band, we had Moving Heavy, we had 6D, we had those. Oh, and then we had the Crew. We had 4 names at different times.
Same band,
different members. There was another group I was messing with. They were near Parkside Plaza. That's where the rehearsals were. I can't think of their name though. And they were good. They were tight. You could tell they were polished. I felt a little intimidated, but for whatever reason, they liked me. So I used that as my confidence to work with them. But I didn't do a lot with them. I know they had done a lot of things on their own. I'm trying to think of their name. I have one cassette somewhere around here from something that I did with them. And then we did a merge with this group called Stone Harmony. It was 3 guys. I don't know if they were all brothers, but they were kind of like doing kind of like the Maurice White thing where he had the Emotions and he had I forgot the other group on the Arc when they were Arc, but it was like they merged with us to do some things. And but man, I've just done a lot of performing and performances and a lot of collaborations. And then as I think about it, it's like, man, you've done a lot of stuff. And more than anything, it's amounted to a good body of experience. And I know in this business, you have to have experience because, and it may sound like a duh, but it's just very important. I know outstanding vocalists who don't have stage presence, for example. And it's like, wow, you know, which makes me again remind myself, look at yourself when you're performing, Charles. You know, how are you presenting yourself to the people? Are you presenting yourself to the people? And it's more than just how you look on stage, as you know. It's like, do you actually engage the audience? Can you engage? Are you over engaging in the midst of a song? Should you be concentrating more on the actual musical performance versus, you know, crowd participation and things like that? And there's a fine line. I've got to really watch myself because as a speaker, that hat can get flipped and I might find myself doing more talking, or not more, but more than I need to do. So, and that's not even talking about, are you commanding the stage right? If it's 3 tiers, are you working each section, or are you just standing right there in the center and you stuck like a statue, you know? And do you have mic presence? Do you know how to work the mic? You know, when you're hitting high notes and, you know, all the different nuances. And a lot of people just don't know that stuff or don't do it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. A lot of people don't, you know, because right now running through my head is all the sound gigs that we do and all the hassles that I have with the sound gigs, and you know, with people with you know, there's an enormous amount of, matter of fact, I'm going to go through it for the next couple of days. You know, there's an enormous amount of stuff that you're like, I don't understand why you don't understand why you don't sound good. You know, if you cup the mic and you sound like you sound like you have a tissue over your vocals or whatever, you want to know why it don't sound good. Well, you can't cup the mic, you know. Right. I mean, just things like that, you know. There's a whole lot of you know, I think people just don't know.
People, you know, whether you're, well, I know this is all about music, but I have to reference the speaking side of what I do as well. A couple of the most important people to know in any engagement is the audio team, the audio visual team, you know, especially if you have visuals. But if you get to know the audio team, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache and heartache. you know, and I try to keep it authentic every time I do a gig, whether it's speaking or singing. If I'm not responsible for the audio setup, I want the audio guys to be my best friend, you know, because they're going to tell me the best mic. They're going to tell me if the speakers are too close, don't go here, don't go there. You're going to get immediate feedback. If they can't change the position of the speakers, you know, whatever the case may be. In fact, I did a speaking gig, but I did have a chance to sing the night before the gig, and the DJ had everything set up, and he was like, "Oh, there's going to get feedback," and I'm like, "Why don't you just turn the speakers away so that people can move out?" But I was like, "Okay, let me just focus on the song, and I can just stand there because it's not that important that I, you know, put all this extra effort into the musical performance. I can stand here and do this song. It's a high energy song. The people are all around, so I don't have to go into the crowd. I'm used to doing it, but don't tell the man how to run his business." So I was like, okay, whatever. And I did it and it was fine. But I kept saying, why didn't he just turn the speakers out since they're powerful enough? And that way people can move without the feedback. No squelch. But I don't know how well versed he is, but so, but anyway,
that would make a difference.
Yeah, but I love the audio team, the audio visual team, because again, they're game changers. You know, whether it's, hey, you got a lavalier and you got a handheld should you need it. The system is plugged up to your computer. Any sound on your computer is going to come out through the house system. You know, those things you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, but that's, as you know, that's years of experience, or just opening up your mouth and asking questions, speaking to the people who are responsible for making these things work. And, you know, what we're talking about, it's so, I don't know who's listening and who can benefit from this, but it's so powerful. Whoever's listening, if you're just joining us, this is the TRU-MU Podcast, True Music, and we're talking about all things music. We've got events coming up, and today we're really kind of like, at this moment, we're talking about the importance of knowing the audio visual team, or having your audio set up properly, knowing how to work a stage as a performer. And when you know the audio team or the audio AV team, you know what you can and cannot do and how to use the equipment the best. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Or if you have additional comments, something we're not covering, please feel free to make your comments. We'll respond and get back to you, whoever that may be. But yeah, man. And then when I did the gig the next day, again, I think the guy's name was Dave. I was like, they was like, "Oh yeah, Dave's here." I said, "Hey Dave, how's it going, man?" I said, "Man, you're gonna just don't take my job." You know, I wanted to make him feel good, because he was so much responsible for me to be comfortable, to not have to do extra thinking, you know, with my engagement. So, but yeah, man. So what is any additional that you can add on to that, or any other feedback?
Well, I mean, your sound, well, you know, your sound guys and your visual guys and all that other stuff, you know, you need to stay out of their way. And I say that because a lot of times when we're gigging or we're doing stuff, or, you know, we're playing, and the musicians and the, you know, or the people in the group or whatever, they get in the way, they become demanding, they, you know, they want all this other stuff when the guy's just setting up. You know, sometimes, you know, you need to step back and stay out of the way and let him set up so that you can, you know, so that he can do a better job for you, or he can do the best job that he can for you. So a lot of times, you know, you need to just stay out of the way. It would make the job easier. It would go by quicker if you let him set up, and then find out from him when you should go, when you should, what you should do, or when you should go. The other thing that I don't get, which I wish somebody can let me know, is why after the show, instead of the musicians or everybody that's on the stage leave the stage, they hold meetings on the stage, which means the sound crew or the visual crew, you know, the video crew, or all the people can't break down, and they have to, now they, you know, your tech crew or the people who set up the stuff and the tech and all that stuff, they're usually there. They're there way before you,
Right.
and they're stuck there way after you. And by you not getting out off the stage or getting out of the way, you can have, talk to the people. There's Madison Square Garden, right? When you
Right.
finish and Madison Square Garden empties out, you have all of Madison Square Garden to stand around and talk to your people. No, they bring the people up on the stage. It's like, well, the crew needs to tear that stage down and get out of there to make it to the next spot.
Right. Right.
But I can't do it if you're standing there talking about, and then you call up all your people and they're all up on the stage. If you clear the stage, then, and then you have, again, the whole venue is empty.
Yeah.
Why are you still on the stage? I don't know.
I have my theories, but I don't want to sound like someone may think it sounds pompous, but I
hit it. Come on, give it up.
I think sometimes that's their friend's opportunity to be on the stage where the performance was. Like, hey, look at me. I know this guy. I'm on the in crowd.
I get that.
Even though people are fanning out, and then it gets comfortable because they're there already.
I get that. But then once again, that's the music. So the people want to be on the stage because it's
I'm somebody too. I know somebody, either or.
Right. But you would get that if the person that was on the stage came off the stage and was talking to you.
Right. Hey, you're blue collar. You're not supposed to just do your job. Shut up and dribble.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Yeah.
So you get the same effect. As a matter of fact, it could be even better because now the person can actually interact with you and stuff, because while they're on the stage, instead of breaking down and pulling out their wires and getting their stuff off stage, they're stopping to talk, which means we can't get the stuff off the stage.
But I want somebody to see me up there. You never know. Somebody might think I'm important. When hey, were you part of the band? You know him?
Oh, well.
Let me get a little bit of that shine.
Yeah.
Look, I'll just say this. I've been guilty, not thinking that, but doing that. Of course, earlier in my career as a speaker and as a vocalist, a performer. I've been doing music longer than I've been speaking, but I think I'm pretty sure I've done that, and maybe subconsciously for that reason, and I totally get what you're saying. You got a job to do. There's liability. You don't want nobody to get hurt, and you got a life to live. You got a gig to do. You may have another gig in another part of the hotel or the venue, or you just may want to go home and be with your family. Who wants to be with their family? Maybe you do.
You think? Maybe, possibly.
And
then on the flip side,
right?
Listen to the, because every sound guy have their own way of dealing with setups and things like that. If you listen to the sound guy, then everything can flow easily. Like an example is, one guy says, sound guy, he says to the band, let me know when, what he says was, let me know by raising your hand what you want in your monitors.
Okay.
We go through the whole thing, and some of the musicians don't raise their hand and don't, go through the whole thing. And now we're saying like, okay, we're ready to go. And now the person or the people are going, no, I don't hear this in my monitor. I don't hear this. And I'm saying like, didn't he tell you, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Didn't he say? The other thing though is volume.
Uh-huh.
Volume is there's a if if you're on stage, you're there to give the people, the audience, the best performance that you can get
Right.
as a whole. Not just your performance, which is the problem. People come up and they want to do their performance. Their performance is the most important. No, it's the total performance.
Right.
So if you have players or singers that is playing or extremely too loud, like I'll give you an example. While playing a gig or doing sound, if I can turn off your fader, if I can pull your volume all the way down and mute you, and the volume doesn't change, that means you're way too loud.
Yep.
That means you're way too loud.
You got your personal instrument turned up beyond where it needs to be.
And the thing is, back in the day, I'm not that old, but back in the day, you had to have an amplifier powerful enough to send your sound from the stage out to the audience. These days, everybody is plugged into the system, so you don't have to be loud. And now people are doing stuff with in-ears. So you have an in-ear monitor. You have your own monitor, your own in-ear monitor and stuff. So your sound that's going out in the audience isn't relying on your sound coming out of your amplifier or coming from the stage. So why does it have to be so loud?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're messing up the mix for the audience, because that's who you're supposed to be pleasing. You trying to please yourself because you want to hear yourself and you want to feel it for yourself, but you supposed to be pleasing the audience. So what you need to do is just hear it so that you have a reference, so that the sound man can do the best job of giving it to the audience, if he's any good.
Now, which instrument is usually the villain?
I'm not going to point any fingers to the bass player.
I thought it may have been the guitar player personally.
He's the second one. That's the second one. But I mean, that bass player is something, man.
That's been my biggest challenge. Just in general, when it comes to performing with music, I love a live band, period. But my biggest challenge is always like, why is the vocals challenging instruments? That's crazy.
Well,
that's crazy.
I some of the situations, both ends, because no matter where I'm at, I'm working. You know what I'm saying? It's in my mind, I'm working. And I've had situations where the vocalist would come in. Now, how I work it is, I want the vocalist to look like they're trying to fly.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what I mean. I get the vocals, so I get the vocal mics up as loud as I can get them. Once I get them up to as loud as I can get them, the vocalist usually is trying to tell me to turn it down, and it looks a little like this. Because the vocals, I have them shooting up and, coming up to them, and it's really loud. Now, the problem is when you do the vocals, the band is not playing. So the band is not playing. The vocalist is loving the sound that they got, but the band isn't playing. When the band plays, it seems like they are saying, we can hear the vocals, so let's get a little louder to drown them out. And the thing is, once again, if there's in-ears, if they have, in-ears where you're hearing the sound in your ear, I don't understand why we have to, why it has to be so loud on the stage.
Right.
Making it hard to mix.
So do I don't know if it's venues or does each group, like when you're when you're on the road, I guess this is really pertaining to shows on the road, but I guess it could also pertain to a house set or a venue that has their own engineers. Does each group have? Nah, I know they don't, but do sometimes groups have their own engineers because they know how their set's going to go?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, because I know
Sometimes.
sometimes at a certain for certain songs or a certain set, something may need echo, whether it's a musician or a vocalist, and the echo. I mean, they could have a foot pedal, but they throw that special effect on whatever it is, So then they got to go back to the regular a setting because every part of the song doesn't require that feature, that special effect. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, sometimes they do, and that's where the digital stuff really, comes in handy,
right,
because with that you have settings for each group, with the same board, you have settings for each group, and you're able to recall the settings
with
so
color
that,
code,
huh?
and color coded.
Um, well, no, they have, I
Marker.
mean, these things, no, the digital boards have recalls.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, you have their name. I can put your name in it, stick your name in there and recall it. And if I see you in the next 10 gigs, I see you somewhere else and you show up, I have basic settings of whatever it is that we did for you at the last thing.
Right.
So we can recall that, and then work from there, which is kind of cool,
Yeah.
and not starting from scratch or
Mm-hmm.
zero in the board or whatever the case may be, because of course, the analog thing is like the headliners do a sound check, and then after that, nobody else, you just have to deal with whatever it is. But of course, while the show goes, changes are made, so therefore when the headliner comes, it's not exactly the way it was when they did the sound check.
Right. Right.
But with the digital stuff, you can recall it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
which
that's
is
a nice
cool.
nice feature to have too.
Yeah, which is cool. Extremely cool.
Folks, if you're just joining us, this is the TRU-MU Podcast, True Music Podcast. And I'm speaking with my partner, Carl T. Smith, also known as the Smooth One. And, we've got several engagements coming up, but we want you to save the date specifically for a couple of dates, depending on where you are in the country. We'd love to see your face in the place because we got the True Lovers Tour coming up, and we have a nice setup. In fact, let me just share it with you right here. We've got Soul City Collective. We've got DC Zone Smoke D. We've got John R. Lewis on keyboards and guitars, hell of a musician. We got Tawanda Price. We've got Carl T. Smith, singer, songwriter, producer, and we got yours truly, Sir Charles Carey, singer, songwriting, producer, and myself. And the True Lovers Tour is going to be all that and a bunch of chips. We think you're going to really have a blast. So you want to be there. Those of you that grew up wanting music with a message, those of you who appreciate good song structure, good melodies, good rhythms, you want to be at this event. 5050 Beach Place, that's Temple Hills, Maryland. You're going to have a great time because we're going to have a good time. See, it's one thing just to go somewhere and hear music, but when the artists enjoy what they're doing, you're probably going to enjoy the same. You get the same feeling because they really are one with what they're doing. And that's how we feel about it. So come on out, 5050 Beach Place, Temple Hills, Maryland, 20746 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. March 21st of this year. It's only $20 to get in, but we're going to have refreshments. I mean, it's going, in fact, a little birdie told me this may be an actual live taping. So come out and be a part of a live taping. I'm going to confirm that hopefully by the next week, but you want to be there because, as they say, it's on and popping. It's going to be on and popping. I know I'm going to show up and show out. So, Carl, I don't know what you're going to do, man, but hope you're going to bring your best shoe. Bring that jacket you was wearing in that clip I saw.
The jacket in the clip.
Yeah.
I got to see the clip.
In
With
fact,
your jacket.
you may want to keep that under wraps because if I can get into it, or maybe you could just pass it to me when your set is done. I don't know, but dude, man, I was like, oh, that's a fly jacket, man. I may have to go shopping.
Got to see what jacket that is. Which one, anyway?
I got a nice little sequin look, or I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but I just know it looked right. It looked right. You know, that's definitely for performance. I'll put it like that. But yeah, man, you know, it's funny, you know, talking about stage presence and, you know, setting up, you know, it's so important. And some people, I know, I hate to say it, but I think a lot of vocalists are, unless you've been doing this for a long time, a lot of vocalists are oblivious to the importance of the setup. You know, they just want to show up and sing. And I know I used to be that way as well. I couldn't wait. I was too impatient. You know, even if it's a rehearsal, you know, the guys got to tune up if they weren't tuned up. And then I got to wait for them to see if they are in the right key with one another for whatever song. And I'm like, come on, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. You know, and it was like, you know, that was just the impatience of an inexperienced artist, you know, just wanting to go. And you gotta have you pack your patience, as they say. You know, you gotta understand. You know, and look, and musicians are temperamental just like vocals. We're all artists. So
yeah. Well, you don't want them to go until they get it all lined up, man. Because if they go while it's all untuned, not gonna sound good.
It's gonna be a reflection on you. Yep. so true. But yeah, man, I'm excited about the dates we got coming up. I know you're excited about hitting the road and doing some of the things you're gonna be doing too. What else you got, man? Anything else you got?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff that's in the thing. I think there's another San Diego date, I believe, and then there's another Chicago date, I believe, but I don't have the information on that right now.
Okay.
And then I know June 21st. June 21st is Music Day. And this year, I want to participate in that. Last couple of years, I didn't have a chance to do stuff because I had something going on. But this year, I want to participate in that. It's June, you know, it's Music Day. It's supposed to be Music Days all over the world. They celebrate music, and they have performances and everything all over. So I'm gonna hook up something somewhere.
So the event that you're going to be at, you say it's going to be an all-day event?
Which one?
The one on Music Day?
I have to see, because I would love to have it an outdoor event.
Nice.
You know,
nice.
Have it outdoors. If I have it outdoors, then there would be like performances and music, you know, from like I used to do Old Timers Day, would be like from 12 o'clock till 6 or something like that. You know,
like
just
Week, huh?
Something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. You know.
Well, you better dig out your Farmer's Almanac so you can see what the weather's going to be like.
Well, you know, you can't do nothing about that.
Right.
Just gotta have, stuff to cover the equipment in case it rains. That's it.
Right, for sure. Man, It's all right. Well, folks, you know, if you have any comments, we'd love to field your comments. You can put #replay and make your comment, or just simply make your comment, and either Carl or I, or both, will get back to you based on what your question, your comment, or whatever it is that you like to say. But we'd love to, again, see you at the True Lovers Tour, March 21st, 2025, at the MPK Cabaret. That's 5050 Beach Place. Come on out, have a great time, take in some of the refreshments. Again, we got DC's own Smoke D, Tawanda Prince, John R. Lewis, Soul City Collective, Carl T. Smith, and yours truly, Sir Charles Carey. And we're going to have a blast. So I hope you're going to be in the house, because it's going to be a live taping. I keep saying I'll confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. So if you've never been at a live taping for a show, a performance, music performance, make this one because you're going to enjoy it. You're going to be part of the show, part of the action. So with that being said, any other comments, Carl, before we close out?
No, everything's cool. Just be there at that show. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a great time, folks. So with that being said, until next time.
Hey, this is Sir Charles Carey. I want you to join me on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. for the TRU-MU Podcast. True Music. That's where we talk about all things music.
I'm a musician, singer, songwriter, producer, engineer.
All things creative.
Me and my co-host, Carl T. Smith, the smooth one, will be glad to hear you, glad to talk to you, answer your questions, and talk all things music. The TRU-MU Podcast, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Be part of the energy.
I can see